Let's get some inspiring startup stories in this video. I'm sure you're familiar with the companies that we're going to talk about, and you may know the background of their success. But let's discuss about how each of these companies became multi-billion-dollar companies from the start, shall we? Let's have a look at WhatsApp story. Founded in 2009, and it was acquired by Facebook in 2014 with a whopping $19 billion. And the journey took only 5 years for the founder Jan to make it. The founder was born in Ukraine, came to US with mom and worked as a janitor, and he later learned to code and work at Yahoo. After 9 years, he quits the job and starts WhatsApp with his colleague Brian Acton after quitting from Yahoo. And only after WhatsApp was founded, the founders were thinking to quit the app due to crushing issues and not many users. But later, Apple launched instant notification feature for iPhone, and it became instant messaging app that can send messages to people all around the world. And only 5 years later, the app had 1.5 billion users, and Facebook acquired it with a crazy valuation of $19 billion. Even though the valuation of the startup was questionable until today, because it didn't make any profit after it stopped charging $1 per user per year, yet it has become one of the most successful unicorns in Silicon Valley. Next, Instagram story. The founder Kevin worked for Google and started Airbnb, which later became Instagram, but it took a long way to get to the point where the app became sensational overnight success, and millions of users downloaded the app. Later became #1 in photo sharing app on both App Store and Play Store. Later, Facebook acquired the app out of fear that the app has potential to drag users away from Facebook, so Mark Zuckerberg made a smart move to acquire it at $1 billion, and the valuation skyrocketed after that, and it's now known to be worth more than $100 billion. Last but not least, Airbnb. Their story was simple but inspiring. The founders couldn't pay the rent for their apartment, so they tried to rent it out while all hotels in town were fully booked. And 2 men and 1 woman show up to rent the space with breakfast, and it became a billion-dollar idea all of a sudden. And they didn't have technical skill, so they invited the roommates to build the site and try to scale the business. But they faced a lot of challenges as some other startups face, and some people even think it was a crazy idea to rent out their room to strangers for a few bucks. But then, it was the timing that enabled Airbnb to grow very fast, which happened to be in 2008, where many homeowners couldn't afford to pay the mortgage. So it was a good idea to rent their apartments to pay off the mortgage. And they were rejected by many VCs in raising funds to scale the business. And later, they were able to secure the seed funding, and from there on, the growth took off and it became a multi-billion-dollar company. Yet it is still yet to know how it can survive the pandemic, and many startup gurus predict that it will go the same way as WeWork, with a lot of fundings with crazy valuation, and it almost tumbled down back in 2019 if it not for SoftBank. So these are some of the stories that inspire me personally, and I hope you get some inspirations to get into what it takes to build a startup and how you can build one yourself. So in the next video, you will get to learn my personal background and how I ended up building my own startup. So I'll see you in the next video.